Have you ever met someone around your age who seems to glide through the seasons without catching every cold that goes around? While others are reaching for tissues or canceling plans, they're still out walking, laughing, and living their days as usual. And you can't help but wonder, what do they know that I don't? I remember sitting next to a man at a community gathering, his hair completely silver, his posture relaxed, his eyes bright. Someone asked him how often he got sick. He smiled and said, "Honestly, I don't remember the last time." When they pressed him for his secret, he chuckled and said, "It's nothing fancy. It's just how I live." That simple statement stayed with me, because after 60, staying healthy isn't about chasing miracles or complicated routines. It's about everyday choices that quietly add up. That's why this conversation matters. As we get older, our bodies ask for more care, not more fear. Many people assume getting sick often is just part of aging, something unavoidable. But stories like his remind us that there's still a lot within our control. In this video, we're talking about the habits behind that calm confidence. The kind of habits a 75-year-old might shrug off as nothing special, even though they make a real difference. Not extreme diets, not punishing exercise plans, and not expensive supplements. Just simple ways of living that support the body day after day. And as we ease into this, let's start with the first habit he mentioned almost immediately, something so basic that many people overlook it. He said the first thing he protects, no matter what, is his daily rhythm. Not his schedule, but his rhythm. He wakes up around the same time every morning, not because an alarm forces him to, but because his body expects it. He goes to bed when he feels tired, not when the television tells him to. Over the years, he learned that the body loves consistency. When sleep comes at different hours every night, the body stays slightly on edge, never quite sure when it's allowed to rest. After 60, sleep becomes less forgiving. A few bad nights can weaken your energy, your mood, and even your ability to fight off illness. This man didn't talk about sleep in technical terms. He simply said, "I let my body know what to expect." That meant dimming the lights in the evening, avoiding heavy meals late at night, and keeping his bedroom a calm, quiet place. He treated sleep not as something he squeezed in, but as something he respected. And what's interesting is how this gentle respect spills into the rest of the day. When you sleep well, you wake up clearer. You move more easily. You make better choices without forcing yourself. Good sleep doesn't just prevent sickness, it supports everything else you do to stay well. From there, he talked about how he starts his mornings, and this part surprised a lot of people. He doesn't rush. Even on days when he has appointments or plans, he gives himself a slow beginning. He sits, stretches lightly, drinks a glass of water, and takes a few quiet moments before stepping into the day. He said for years he lived in a hurry, always pushing forward, always tense. But as he got older, he noticed that rushing made him feel run down faster than almost anything else. That slow start isn't laziness. It's preparation. When you move gently in the morning, you allow your joints to warm up, your breathing to settle, and your mind to catch up with your body. Many people wake up already stressed, already bracing for the day. That constant low-level stress can wear down the immune system over time. His approach was the opposite. He treated mornings as a way to ease into the world, not battle it. Another habit he mentioned, almost in passing, was how he eats. Not what he eats in strict terms, but how. He said he stopped eating to distract himself years ago. No more standing at the counter, no more eating in front of constant noise. He sits down, chews slowly, and pays attention. This simple act helps digestion more than people realize. When you rush meals or eat while stressed, the body doesn't absorb nutrients as well. Over time, that can leave you feeling weaker, even if you think you're eating healthy enough. He enjoys simple foods. Warm meals. Familiar flavors. He listens to how his body feels afterward. If something makes him sluggish, he eats less of it next time. There's no punishment, no strict rules. Just awareness. And that awareness builds trust between you and your body, something many people lose touch with after decades of ignoring signals. He also talked about movement, but not in the way most people expect. He doesn't work out. He moves. He walks, he stretches, he stays active in ways that feel natural. Some days it's a longer walk, some days it's light chores, some days it's just gentle movement around the house. He said the key is not forcing the body, but not abandoning it either. Long periods of sitting make the body stiff and sluggish, which can lower resistance over time. Movement keeps the blood flowing, the lungs working, and the joints flexible. More importantly, it keeps you connected to your body. When you move regularly, you notice changes sooner. You catch small issues before they become big ones. That awareness plays a quiet but powerful role in staying well. As he spoke, it became clear that none of these habits were dramatic on their own. They were simple, almost boring. But together, they formed a way of living that supported his health without stress or obsession. And once you begin to see health this way, as something built gently over time, it opens the door to even deeper habits that protect not just the body, but the mind and spirit as well. Now that we've touched on how daily rhythm, gentle mornings, mindful eating, and natural movement shape his well-being, it feels natural to continue exploring the inner habits and attitudes that quietly keep sickness at bay. Watching and feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. As the conversation continued, what stood out wasn't just what he did with his body, but how he treated his inner world. He leaned back, smiled again, and said something that felt simple but carried a lot of weight. He said, "I don't let things pile up inside me." At first, that sounded vague. But the more he explained, the clearer it became. Over the years, he learned that unspoken worries, old grudges, and constant anxiety can wear the body down just as much as poor sleep or bad food. After 60, many people carry a lifetime of memories, responsibilities, and regrets. Some are heavy, some are quiet, but they all take energy to hold on to. This man made a conscious choice not to carry more than he needed. When something bothered him, he addressed it early. Sometimes that meant talking it through with someone he trusted. Other times it meant letting go, even if he never got an apology or closure. He said holding on to anger felt like keeping a door closed inside his body, and over time, that tightness showed up as tension, fatigue, or getting sick more often. What he practiced instead was a kind of emotional housekeeping. Not perfect, not always easy, but regular. He paid attention to how he felt, not just physically, but emotionally. If he noticed himself feeling restless or irritable for days at a time, he slowed down and asked why. That awareness allowed him to respond gently instead of pushing himself until his body forced him to stop. Along with that came his relationship with stress. He didn't claim to live a stress-free life. No one does. But he stopped treating stress like a constant companion. He said many people his age still live as if they're racing against something, deadlines, expectations, or the fear of slowing down. That constant sense of urgency keeps the nervous system on high alert. Over time, that wears down the immune system, making it easier for illness to take hold. His approach was different. When something stressful happened, he acknowledged it, handled what he could, and then deliberately returned to calm. He used simple habits to do this. Quiet walks. Sitting outside. Deep, slow breathing without any special technique. Just breathing slowly enough to remind the body that it was safe. He said the body listens closely to how you treat it. If you constantly act like you're under threat, it starts to believe you are. Another quiet but powerful habit was how he related to other people. He didn't isolate himself, but he also didn't exhaust himself trying to please everyone. Over the years, he learned to choose connection over obligation. He spent time with people who made him feel at ease, not drained. Conversations that felt honest, not forced. Laughter that came naturally. Human connection plays a bigger role in health than many people realize, especially after 60. Feeling seen, heard, and valued supports emotional well-being, which in turn supports physical health. Loneliness, on the other hand, can quietly weaken the body's defenses. This man made an effort to stay connected in simple ways. A phone call, a short visit, a shared meal. Nothing complicated. Just enough to remind himself that he was part of something beyond his own thoughts. He also talked about boundaries, something many people struggle with even later in life. He said learning to say no was one of the healthiest things he ever did. No to commitments that left him exhausted. No to conversations that always turned negative. No to habits that no longer served him. Each no made room for a quieter, more balanced life. And that balance showed up in his health. Another habit that surprised people was how he thought about illness itself. He didn't obsess over it, but he didn't ignore his body either. When he felt run down, he rested without guilt. He didn't push through fatigue just to prove something. He believed the body gives signals early, long before sickness fully arrives. Listening to those signals, he said, was an act of respect. Many people ignore early signs because they don't want to feel old or limited. But ignoring the body often leads to longer recovery times and more frequent illness. His mindset was different. Rest was not weakness. Slowing down was not failure. It was maintenance. Just like tending a garden before weeds take over. He also spoke about having something to look forward to, something that gave his days meaning. Not big goals or achievements, but small sources of purpose. Tending to his plants. Helping a neighbor. Learning something new, even if it took longer than it used to. Purpose, he said, gives the immune system a reason to stay alert. When life feels empty or repetitive, the body can mirror that heaviness. Having a reason to get up, to engage with the day, keeps both the mind and body active. It doesn't have to be grand. It just has to feel personal. That sense of purpose adds a quiet resilience, a feeling that life is still unfolding, not winding down. As he shared all this, a pattern became clear. Staying healthy wasn't about avoiding sickness at all costs. It was about creating an environment, inside and out, where sickness had less room to settle. Calm instead of constant tension. Connection instead of isolation. Awareness instead of neglect. These inner habits work together with the physical ones, supporting the body in a steady, natural way. And as those layers come together, they lead naturally into an even deeper understanding of health, one that involves acceptance, gratitude, and how you choose to see your own aging. As he spoke about acceptance and gratitude, his voice softened a little, as if this part mattered most. He said that somewhere along the way, he stopped fighting his age. Not in a giving up kind of way, but in a way that felt honest and peaceful. He no longer compared his body to what it was at 40 or 50. He didn't punish himself for needing more rest or for moving more slowly. Instead, he treated aging as a conversation with his body, one that required listening instead of arguing. That shift alone, he believed, protected his health more than people realize. When you're constantly frustrated with your body, you create tension. When you're angry about limitations, you stay tight, mentally and physically. That tension doesn't just stay in the mind. It shows up in shallow breathing, poor sleep, clenched muscles, and a nervous system that never fully relaxes. Over time, that state makes it harder for the body to recover from anything, whether it's stress, fatigue, or illness. Acceptance, as he described it, wasn't passive. It was active kindness. If he woke up feeling stiff, he didn't criticize himself. He adjusted his day. If he felt tired, he rested. If his energy was high, he used it. He worked with his body instead of against it. That cooperation created a sense of ease, and that ease became a foundation for staying well. Gratitude played a quiet role too. Not the kind you force yourself to feel, but the kind that grows when you pay attention. He noticed small things. A morning with no pain. A good conversation. A meal that tasted just right. A walk where his legs felt steady. These moments reminded him that even as some things changed, many good things remained. That perspective kept his mood steady, and a steady mood supports the body in ways science is still catching up with. He also mentioned that he stopped filling his days with constant noise. He still enjoyed music, conversation, and television, but he left room for silence. Silence, he said, gives the body a chance to reset. When life is filled with constant input, the mind never truly rests. After 60, the nervous system benefits greatly from moments of quiet. Sitting without distraction. Watching the light change. Listening to your own breathing. Those quiet moments allowed him to notice subtle changes in how he felt. A slight tension here. A bit of fatigue there. Catching these signals early helped him respond gently instead of waiting until his body demanded attention. That awareness didn't make him anxious. It made him confident. He trusted himself to notice and care for what he needed. Another part of his approach was how he viewed setbacks. If he did feel under the weather, he didn't panic. He didn't jump to worst-case scenarios. He treated it as information, not a failure. He rested more, simplified his days, and let his body do its work. Fear, he said, makes everything heavier. Calm makes healing easier. This calm extended to how he thought about the future. He didn't live in constant worry about what might go wrong. Planning had its place, but so did presence. He focused on what he could do today to feel well now. That mindset reduced anxiety, and less anxiety meant better sleep, steadier energy, and a stronger sense of balance overall. As the conversation drew to a close, it was clear that his health wasn't the result of one secret habit. It was the result of many small choices, made consistently, with kindness instead of force. Respecting his body's rhythm. Caring for his emotional world. Choosing calm over constant urgency. Staying connected. Moving gently. Resting without guilt. Finding purpose in simple things. Accepting himself as he was, not as he used to be. None of these choices required perfection. They required attention. And attention, especially after 60, is one of the most powerful tools we have. When you pay attention to how you live, how you feel, and how you respond to stress, you naturally make choices that support health. If you're listening to this and thinking that some of these habits feel familiar, or that a few of them feel possible for you, that's a good place to start. You don't need to change everything at once. Even one small shift can make a difference over time. Health doesn't come from dramatic overhauls. It grows quietly, day by day. I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed habits or ways of thinking that help you stay well as you get older? Or is there something you've been meaning to change but haven't started yet? Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. If you found this conversation helpful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue sharing ideas that support calm, healthy, meaningful living at every stage of life. Thank you for spending this time here. Remember, getting older doesn't mean getting weaker by default. With care, awareness, and a bit of kindness toward yourself, it's possible to feel steady, resilient, and well for many years to come. Here's to living thoughtfully, listening closely, and taking good care of yourself at any age.